We're at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show in 2012. This is the largest jewelry show in the United States and probably the world. Yeah. And we're here this morning with two very wonderfully experienced people that know a lot about our favorite, turquoise. So this is Tang, and this is Sean. And Tang is going to tell us a little bit about how her family began this business. This is very interesting about. So who started the business?
My mom, back in '95, she started in a now deceased mall back in Albuquerque, New Mexico called Indoor Mercado. She had a little typical booth in there, and she brought the initial batch of Chinese turquoise that was first introduced to the U.S. and it was wildly popular, and she did really well, even for a tiny little booth inside of an indoor mall.
Wow, and that was in '95?
95, yes.
And what year did you come to the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show?
I think it was 98 or 99, and we started in the River Park Inn, the Pueblo Gem Show, and then we got the amazing spot here the year after, and then we added Gem Mall the year after that. Wow. So we've been here ever since. So it's been 8 years since all 3 locations have been.
And they have the best selection of turquoise in the entire show. I can vouch for that because yesterday I tried to shop here and I couldn't even get near it. That's why we're here early this morning, because of all the wonderful things that they have at China Mountain Turquoise from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we're going to talk to Sean a little bit about the facts about turquoise, because it seems like it's kind of a controversial thing. So this is a fabulous piece, but according to Sean,
this stuff here you got, it's called Nacasari. It's from Sonora, Mexico. It's about 5 miles south of the Arizona border. It's in the same mountain range as Bisbee, so it looks really similar to Bisbee. In fact, if you get under a microscope, take it to the university, it'll test exactly the same pyrite content. And basically, what gives you the real the bright blue in the turquoise is it's a copper byproduct, but it's the copper in the stone that gives you the blue tint.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when you get into the greenish turquoise, yellowish, that's more zinc and iron. There's other minerals, but basically zinc and iron is what gives you the pop and green. But what a lot of people don't understand is all turquoise starts out as white. And there's a big misconception about white versus turquoise. Most of the white you see on the market now is called magnesite, which is a very cheap stone. It's an upgrade from what people used to use to dye things called howlite. Magnesite's a much harder stone, but white turquoise basically surrounds the layer of the mine. It's extremely soft, and it's almost impossible to mine without destroying. And when you start introducing the copper content into it, you'll start getting the bluish, purplish tints. Zinc and iron, you'll start getting yellowish tints. You'll go all the way almost to a near purple for turquoise, and every color in between. People think turquoise as just blue turquoise, but there's colors of all different sorts.
So if you could tell me just one question that comes up a little often is the amount of vein that's in it, or what did you call it? Inclusions.
Vein is matrix. Inclusions is imperfections. Just about every single turquoise out there is going to have some sort of veining in it, which is the matrix. It's the natural byproduct of the stone. It's black, gray, silver. A big deal with a lot of the stuff from Sonora is you'll have pyrite veining, pyrite matrix. So you have a metallic matrix, which is, in my opinion, the best turquoise there is.
But one of the things I want to know is there something that makes one turquoise more valuable than another?
Yeah, well, usually it's the same in any case with stones. The less inclusions, less imperfections in any stone. Whether it's lapis, ruby, jade, turquoise, diamonds, you want it to be clean and clear. And the more color, the better for the colorful stones. Besides the clear stones like crystal and diamond.
So is this what it looks like out of the ground?
Basically, this is Nacasari. This is a piece of Nacasari rough that's been stabilized. Now, there's a big, huge problem. Most people think that stabilized means dyed. Stabilized is exactly what it sounds like. It makes the stone stable. When this stuff is inside the ground, it's not exposed to any of the air content. There's no air. So as soon as oxygen is introduced, it'll actually change the color. So a lot of times you'll have turquoise on the top of a mine that is a deep blue, because the sun, the O2, everything will actually change the dynamics of the stone. Stabilizing the stone, so basically when a stone is stabilized, It's a very complicated process, but basically, you put it into a chamber, a vacuum chamber. It's going to pull all of the moisture out of the stone. It takes weeks at a time. Now, there's a problem with the vacuum. You can only pull so much back, but you have to make sure to get all the moisture out of the stone. There is water inside of the stones, from thousands, millions of years. You have to get it all out of there before you apply the epoxy. It's a clear epoxy. It's basically the same stuff that auto manufacturers use to make the panels in a car harder. It's very, 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 very fine stuff. So you put it on the outside of the stone. After all the vacuum, after all the moisture is pulled out, you put it into a pressure chamber. The good thing about pressure is you can put as much pressure as you want. It's not the same as back. So you apply the resin on the outside. You're going to put it in a chamber, and the chamber literally pushes everything down completely through the center of the stone, hardening it and making sure that there's no chemical reaction with the skin, with the temperature, with sunlight, with air. It's going to keep this color forever, exactly looking like this. So we slice this open, and it's going to have perfect same blue color all the way through.
Is this called Sleeping Beauty turquoise?
No, this is Nacasari. This is in Sonora, Mexico. There's Nacasari, Campitos, and Cananea in Sonora, Mexico alone. This particular stuff was mined out 3 years ago.
And what about this?
This is Hubei. This is some of the oldest Hubei that we have. This is considered the best of the best.
Even though it has a lot of inclusion.
It doesn't matter because large pieces like this, to mine the large pieces, is non-existent now. And now I found out this is Hubei, which is in Wuhan, China, central China. This stuff here, I found it just recently. The Chinese government has banned all mining of Chinese turquoise. It's been closed now for almost 2 years. And I've just learned that they built a government building on top of the main mine where this one came from. So this will it'll never come out again. And large pieces like this are completely non-existent. And in fact, our Chinese manufacturers are trying to buy this back for a premium than we paid originally. This one here is about 20 years old.
Wow. So what would this be worth?
A piece like this, because you're looking, this stuff is $10,000 American per kilo. Maybe
per
for this,
kilo.
you're looking right around $50,000 American dollars.
Holy cow! This should have its own private guard.
Yeah. So we just now we put it out just for the factory, just to show people what it is. And I mean, a magnesite piece, the dyed stuff that I was telling you about, a piece like that, you'd be looking at about $100.
Wow.
Big difference.
So the China turquoise is good.
Chinese turquoise, basically, there's turquoise all over the world. Turquoise is a byproduct of copper. We have copper mining all over the world. It happens that China is right now, in the last 10 years, had the most mining outfits, so most of the turquoise was coming out of China. Now there's Persian turquoise, there's just different qualities of turquoise. Persian turquoise, you could have really low quality Persian turquoise, the same as you could have the gorgeous, most beautiful Persian turquoise. Same as in China, we can have the perfect Sleeping Beauty blue. Looks just like Sleeping Beauty.
So it's not just from Arizona.
It's not just from Arizona. But the thing is, there are different minerals, different compounds, content that go into the stones that are unique to that area. So it gives you a brownish matrix, pyrite matrix, grayish matrix.
So people think that American turquoise is supposed to be so much. People say, "Oh, I want to buy the American turquoise or the American Indian turquoise." Is that a special kind of yours?
Basically, all it comes down to is supply and demand. Right now, American turquoise has been mined out for a good while. There is a little bit, there's some Kingman coming out, there's some number 8, but basically, Sleeping Beauty, it's known as perfectly bright blue. Yet I've seen some pretty ugly Sleeping Beauty turquoise, but it's still Sleeping Beauty. It's supply and demand. There is none left, and people want it.
So can they certify that it is what you said? Can people say, "I guarantee," or is it certified that this is Sleeping Beauty? This is what you just said.
The only way that someone can legally certify that it's Sleeping Beauty is if their hand pulled it out of the mine itself. Because it's impossible for one person to come. If I had an old expert, and I have a lot of good old friends, and I'm going to let them remain anonymous, they wouldn't be able to come to my booth and tell me exactly where each stone came from. Because it's just impossible.
Yeah.
Turquoise comes from the ground. Right now, everybody seems to think it's extinct. It's all over with.